All this stuff that's going on in the news, the government, all of these things are just to keep you at a low vibrational state. Why would I need to go get health insurance? For what? When there's cures for everything. But they don't tell you that though. Shh, keep it a secret. They are all saying the same exact things, whose job is to treat you. My job is to prevent you from needing treatment. This is me. Hello, nice to meet you. I grew up eating hot Cheetos for breakfast with an Arizona sweet tea. Hey y'all, and welcome back to Vibe High Training. Today we're gonna jump straight into it. We are going to react to some of the most incredible, informative videos. And before we get started, make sure that you click the link below and subscribe to my free Facebook support group. I provide numerous information on health, wellness, even a little bit about financial literacy, right? But in order to be healthy holistically, we wanna make sure that we care about the things we put into our bodies, right? So with that being said, disclaimer, I do not want to pose this as a video to offend anyone whatsoever. As you guys know, or if you don't know, now you know, I am on my wellness and health journey. I want to be fully transitioned into plant-based alkaline vegan. However, I've had a lot of setbacks. I've been vegan, just a little background, I've been vegan for about 6+ years. This was like around during COVID. And then I started eating meat again back in like 2020, 2021. Gained a lot of weight because when you cut things out for a long period of time, sometimes your body is like really craving it and you can overindulge, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm also on my weight loss journey, so stay tuned for that. I will have a documentary coming soon as I get to my goal weight. But anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. We're gonna jump straight into it. We have a lot in store today. I have about 21 videos that we're going to react to. I'm going to try to zoom through them. I just wanted to do a quick little intro. All right, y'all, let's get straight into it.
If you want to prevent dementia, Alzheimer's, and other neurodegenerative diseases, we have to make sure that we're cleaning and flushing our brain out every night, right? So our body has the lymphatic system, and that uses lymph, a clear fluid that has proteins and white blood cells in it to clean the body out. Our brain has a glymphatic system, and that uses cerebrospinal fluid and blood in order to clear the brain out. So when we go to sleep, our brain cells shrink so that the fluid can get through the brain and clear out all the toxins, the lectins, the lipopolysaccharides, the amyloids. Amyloids are shed molecules that break off from healthy bacteria and then travel up the vagus nerve to the brain and multiply in the brain. In order to ensure that we're flushing all of those things out, we have to have enough blood to travel to the brain when we go to sleep. So when we eat too close to the time that we go to sleep, the blood is being used to digest food and not to help our cerebrospinal fluid travel to the brain and clear out our brain.
Long story short, try not to eat before you go to sleep. Try to wait at least 3 hours before going to sleep after you have your last consumption, okay? And also, y'all, I believe that I am addicted because, as y'all know, like I said, I am trying to transition more into an alkaline. Well, not more into, I'm trying to be. I'm pursuing the endeavor of wanting to become an alkaline veganist, plant-based, whole foods, okay? Fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds. So this is watermelon juice. I juiced it yesterday. There's the clip for the next vlog. So yeah, this is delicious. This is watermelon juice. Super hydrating. And I like to think of blood as oxygen, right? Because it flows through the body. So when we think, as he's saying this, we want to think of it as flowing throughout our body, making sure all the nutrients, oxygen, enriched, right, is traveling and hitting all of our cells, right, in order to make sure we are not deficient. Let's jump back right into it.
So you can't eat 4 hours before you go to sleep in order to have that process work the best, because the glymphatic system works best during the beginning of our sleep cycle. If your schedule isn't allowing you to not eat at that time, you have to have a wash day where you don't eat dinner that day to allow that your brain to recover. If you're eating too close to the time you go to sleep, if you're eating a late night snack, if you're not getting enough sleep, your brain is not going to be flushing itself, and then it's going to have all these toxins and amyloids in it.
Wow, that's very informative to know. I know, y'all, don't shoot me. I've been so good. It is not the easiest thing, right? Some people can cold turkey. Some people can just flip a script in their brain and be like, okay, I'm done doing this. Okay, for some people it's alcohol. For some people it's eating junk food, eating sugar, sweets, going to the club, calling your ex. I don't know, right? Some people have like behaviors that they are overcoming, right? I like to say overcoming because it is a form of addiction that we have as a society here in America. I did cheat, y'all. I had me a carne asada taco last night. Don't shoot me. But I've been doing so good. I've been eating clean. I've been exercising. I've been feeling so much better. I lost like probably 10 pounds. I haven't checked my weight. I will check it. Today's October 1st, y'all. Happy October 1st. Today's October 1st. What's today's date though? I mean, today's day. It's, I think, Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday, October 1st. So I normally will check my weight either Friday or Saturday. Just like, I'll check it like once a week because I don't want to overdo it, right? But with that said, we want to make sure, he said 4 hours instead of 3. So yeah, make sure you just, the further away that you can eat possible, try to like wait a lot of time until you lay down and shut your eyes and go into a deep rest, okay? Also, another disclaimer, this is a safe space. So if you're going to comment down, I suggest it is nothing but positivity. It can be constructive criticism, but I also want to make sure that this is a safe channel. You guys will see my process. It is not an easy process. It is not an easy journey. You guys see me at my highest, you guys see me at my lowest, and I want to keep striving to be better because as human beings, as we are here on this earth, we are going to keep healing, evolving, thriving, and living. We want to always strive for higher goals to achieve, okay? So with that said, we're gonna jump right into the next video.
Rice is one of the greatest mucus formers and makes an excellent paste. I firmly believe through my experience with serious cases of sickness, awful boils, etc., prevalent among one-sided rice eaters. Don't you know that Bookbinder's paste is made of fine white flour, rice, or potatoes?
It's the stuff. It's like pure concentrated evil.
Wow. And with that said, y'all, I've been substituting rice for quinoa, or I just don't eat rice, right? Of course, I just went to Benihana's, y'all saw in the last vlog. Their garlic butter rice. Oh my gosh, fire. Fire. But you know, we got to stay away from things that we already, if you have like the knowledge, like a lot of people think rice is healthy, right? Because in a lot of Asian countries or in a lot of those blue zones that they call it, where they're centenarians and people are living to like 90s, 100 years old, and they're like, oh, all I do is eat rice and I exercise, and you know, there's so many other factors, and we already know that the more chemicals something has, the more detrimental it is to your body and your development. So there's many more key factors, right? I can say someone who doesn't drink alcohol at all, and then someone who drinks maybe a glass or two every week of wine, and they're probably healthier because they exercise and they do other things to combat that habit of drinking alcohol. Does that make sense? Are you getting me? Okay. All right, with that said, next video, we're jumping straight forward, trying to move quickly here.
What's unnatural is 32 feet of impacted intestines with 20 to 30 pounds of fecal matter. Many of you, many of us, constipated with our GI tract, our colon and intestines. 32 feet of impacted intestines with 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds of uneliminated fecal matter in our body. So that's step one. Let's do phases. Phase one, uneliminated fecal matter in your gut. How good do you think you're gonna feel? How much energy do you think you're gonna have when you have 32 feet of impacted intestines? People say, well, I have a bowel movement. I have one bowel movement every day, and it's some little tiny chunk. You got a whole 32 feet of feces. If you haven't done this work and you haven't cleaned yourself out and did some of the things that we were talking about, you got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yikes. All right, moving forward.
Stop moving is when you start dying. That's the stark truth for most people. That's why you see people in other countries, particularly Asian nations, 80, 90 years old, they're out doing Tai Chi. They're not doing ballistic. They're not jogging, and they're not, running sprints, and they're not pole vaulting. They're doing movement, easy hand waving movement, and bending their knees and rotating and going through different ranges of motion, planes of motion. Movement. For humans, walking is a quintessential human movement. I mean, we populated the face of the earth by walking. I say, why run when you can walk and get better benefits? You can improve your fat burning capacity, your maximum aerobic function. You will not get injured walking. When you get injured running, what do you do to recover? You walk, right? So it's like walking is just the quintessential human movement. And the more we can do it, the better.
Okay, that is hopefully by now common sense, right? Movement, like I was saying, you know, a lot of things that we do as humans that are socially constructed into behaviors that aren't deemed as healthy, right? We can combat that with walking, with exercising, right? Getting sunlight, breathing fresh air, okay? So these are the things that we can do. And when he was speaking, I just thought work smarter, not harder. That's essentially what that is. All right, moving on.
Don't breathe through your lungs. You only breathe when the oxygen's in the blood. You breathe through your blood, not through your lungs. So that's part of our miseducation, because we actually think we hear with our ears. You hear with your brain. The sound is picked up and put in the blood, and the blood takes it to the brain, and the brain hears. You hear with your brain, you see with your brain, you touch with your brain, you taste with your brain. So we got it. That's part of our miseducation I was telling you about. The organ that takes the most oxygen is your brain.
So from where he's going, I feel like the brain is very important, and hopefully we all know that by now.
So when you're starving for oxygen, your brain's starving for oxygen. When the brain says, I'm starving, I need more nutrients, so it's I better step up the estrogen, because estrogen holds moisture and nutrients. So it's going to throw your hormone level off. You see, so I know I got to balance your hormone level, because that's been thrown off. It's just basic kind of science. Anything that's different has a different pH, as they call it. So I had to balance that ratio, because you're suffering with the wrong ratio, because the body says, I'm in a crisis. If I'm in a crisis, I'm going to go dire stress. Not only explain dire stress, you do much better with it than I do.
Under dire stress, your digestive system says, I'm not going to digest food. Your immune system says, I can't fight disease.
That's the I in dire stress. She's just saying D.
The R in dire stress is your reproductive system. You're not going to reproduce anything. And you really, when you're under stress, most sane people don't want to. Your E is your excretory system. Your excretory system is the ability of your body to be able to excrete waste. So when the body's under stress, it can't digest. You have to come out of the stress. And when you come out of the stress, then you can digest the food. And a lot of people get sick because they're under stress. And if you're under stress for long periods of time, say if you've been under stress for 6 months, your digestive system hasn't been working for 6 months.
Wow. Raise your hand if you've ever been stressed before. Okay, and there's good stress, which is eustress. You mean good stress, like exercise. And then there's bad stress that raise your cortisol levels, like being in traffic or running late to work, etc. As she said, our body is in flight or fight mode. We're stressed out. That means our digestive system isn't working. That means that's why you're craving all these donuts and pizzas and burgers, right? And you're eating the food and you're wondering why you feel like crap. You're wondering why you're stressed. It's because your body is not healing itself. It's focused on the stress. It's focused on fight or flight. It's focused on, is someone or something going to come attack me? It's not even worried about digesting your food and making sure that the nutrients get to your blood and your brain. Okay, following along, very important here.
Body is only going to do one thing at a time. You want me to digest this food? Get out of stress.
What we're trying to do is say that the lungs are stressed. Now we know that oil goes to the lungs. So when people smoke, the smoke is carrying the oils, which they call nicotine. The smoke is carrying the cannabinol, and all that goes to the lungs and clogs them up. Well, we know that. We know that things that pull the moisture out of tissue pulls the moisture out of lungs. The body carries waste out that it can't get out the body through peeing, and a bowel movement says, well, I can only pee through the lungs. That's snot. That's the body carrying waste out through snot. And the body carries the waste out and dumps it in your lungs. You see? And it says, that's the way I got to get the waste out. So it dumps it in the lungs, and then you cough to loosen it up and throw it out. That's why I said you're just peeing through your lungs. So we got to increase the efficiency of the kidneys to get rid of this waste so it don't have to go to the lungs.
You guys, our bodies are miraculous things. The creator knew exactly what he was doing. Next video.
Got a lot of worms. If you're on a fast and you're fasting and you're on a diet and you get a headache, you got the headache because the worms are all peeing, trying to get you to eat something else. They're trying to make you sick so you'll get off of what you're doing and start eating. So you take some arginine and orthodine in a matter of 20 minutes. If the headache's gone, you've neutralized the worm urine and you know that you're loaded. All children that have little tiny pimples on the backs of their arms or little tiny pimples here on the edges of their cheeks have 5 varieties of critters in them. 5 varieties. It's time to deworm and it's time to get them out. Now what I found out is that vibration and frequency is everything. It is literally everything. If you take an aspirin, it changes the way you vibrate. And so it blocks the nerves so that you can't feel pain. If you take deworming program.
This is exactly why I decided to pursue my undergraduate degree in public health, because public health is all about preventative care. Whereas if I went to medical school and became a doctor, it's all about treating you, treatment. Whereas they should be wanting to give you the cure. In order to give you the cure, you should just be involved in preventative health. So essentially, you want to prevent these things from happening. You have to live a certain lifestyle. You have to eat certain foods. You have to exercise. You have to move your body. All of these things matter. As he's talking about the aspirins, putting a bandage on the root issue. You're just numbing the pain when you take these prescriptions, when you take these drugs, which are not really medicine. Okay? Want to see my medicine, y'all? I got it right here. This is my medicine. It's called watermelon juice. No sugar added, okay? Just the sugar from the fruit itself, the watermelon. Get you one of these. It's a watermelon. That is my medicine, y'all. That is my health care. Because your girl, why would I need to go get health insurance? For what? When there's cures for everything. But they don't tell you that, though. Shh, keep it a secret. All right, let's get back into it.
You change your vibration, and you change your vibration so dramatically that the worms and parasites either have to get out of you, this is no longer a good home, or they die in you. And then your lungs and your liver and all that stuff handle it. And you do it with water. And out of all of this, I handled my cancer, my stomach and esophagus cancer, which is a terminal problem. I am the only, that I know, survivor of stomach and esophagus cancer in this nation.
Just wow. Just wow. Tree of wow. Okay, let's get into the next video.
If you don't clean the colon, there is absolutely nothing that you can do to get well. I don't care how elaborate that it is, the practice is. I don't care how much money it costs. If you don't clean the colon, you cannot get well. Did you know obesity is storing your own waste? When that waste gets loose into the bloodstream circulates the body 9 times a minute. And it drops that waste in every cell in the body. This is the reason for eyeglasses. This is the reason for headaches. This is the reason for hearing loss. This is the reason for your hair falling out, is because the colon waste is in the bloodstream. If you awaken to that and start to clean the waste out of the colon, not the bloodstream, out of the colon, clean the waste out of the colon, it will stop leaking into the bloodstream, and then you can get on with some serious business of cleaning up the bloodstream. But the first thing you must do is cleanse the colon. Let me tell you something. It may be 20 years from now and you're on your deathbed when that comes to you. Now is the time to start to cleanse the colon. The reason why we are so sick is because of the food, the processed food that we eat. All of the fast food places adds nails to our coffin. The medicine worsens the condition that we have already started.
Are we noticing a pattern? They are all saying the same exact things. All right, next video.
Say to people that white rice, white sugar, pasta, pizzas, meat, spaghetti, macaroni, cheese is processed food. They go, what are we going to eat? Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, lentils, beans, melons, legumes, just to mention a few. But in mentioning those few things, we're talking about over 3,000 different foods to eat, as diversified from each other as night is from day. I mean, just think of the melons and how different they taste, even though they're all melons. Look at the different vegetables, and I mean the amount of vegetables.
Vegetables. I'm going to start saying that. Vegetables instead of vegetables. Vegetables.
Endless. And every one of them, eaten in a natural state, can never leave a residue of any kind. Why? Because it's clean burning fuel. Even raw nuts and things like that is clean burning fuel. You know where we get this thing from that nuts are bad for you? Is that we eat cooked nuts. And that is bad for you. But the raw nuts, All the animals eat it for their protein. You know, we go to eat this animal because we need protein. However, the animal that we eat eats no other animal, so where does that animal get its protein from? See, if you use common sense, you'll realize that
you will realize that
you've been lied to.
Next video.
You're not supposed to ever be sick. Never. The body is a miraculous machine that has been created to take care of itself and heal itself if we don't interfere. But you make yourself sick. And if the mind is powerful enough to make yourself sick, it's also powerful enough to heal you. First, we got to find out why. Why did you do this to yourself? What were you trying to tell yourself? Every disease is the body talking to you. Now, cancer, most of the cases we have found, is caused by suppressed anger. If the person could just talk about what was bothering them, but they don't. They hold it inside. They always say, I don't have any problems. You're the ones with the problem.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. I mean, for someone to what you're saying is they've got to take responsibility and say no matter how they feel about taking the responsibility, they've got to say
about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it goes way back to childhood, but they hold it inside. So after a while, the anger begins to churn around, finally eat away at the organs and creates cancer.
But it must be hard for someone to take responsibility for themselves.
It is. That's my
they've
part
caused it.
As a therapist and a counselor to get them to talk about it. And we figure out where it comes from.
But when you become ill, are you saying then that every illness you've had, you've brought on yourself?
Yeah, but I don't get sick.
What, because you're more balanced than most people?
Because I know how it works.
Right.
Once you figure it out, you don't get sick.
Okay.
One thing they told us, the side effect of doing what you love, what you're supposed to be doing, the side effect...
I can only imagine what she would say next. But ultimately, we are the ultimate creators of our reality. And what you believe, so shall be. So as she was saying about the cancer, right? A lot of us don't want to hear this, but I really believe that, right? So, for example, if I said, hey, you, yes, you, who's watching this video right now, if I said, hey, you only have 6 months to live, you either believe me or you don't. You either believe me or you don't. It's up to you. So at the end of the day, we have to take full accountability for our actions in life. Someone can smoke cigarettes every day and live till they're 100 years old. And someone can live a healthy lifestyle and die at 40. It happens. So that's living proof of that, because there's a lot of scenarios in real life just like that. All right, next video.
Is fish good?
Fish rots in the intestines.
Oh, that's where the worms go.
Oh, exactly right. Anything that walk, crawls, swim, or fly, and that has a head should not enter my system.
It should have a face.
Basically, Dr. Sebi is saying anything that walks, breathes, uses the bathroom like us, blinks, smiles, has a family, we should not be consuming, okay? And I know that is very argumentative. A lot of people, I just seen another video on Instagram today, but I didn't add it to this collection. I didn't feel like I needed to. I can just share with you really quick. So basically, he was a guy who used to be vegan for like 5+ years, but he said he had like really not a good experience with it. The things he were consuming were damaging to his health. He had headaches. He was consuming things like soy, and he said he had a lot of food allergies, and that can just be preference, correct? So I truly believe we are frugivores by nature. Like, God put fruit here for humans to consume. That's why we have these teeth. That's why our digestive system is the way it is. Everything is miraculously and divinely created to serve its purpose for us, right? However, it is debatable, because we should not, like Kev was saying, well, you guys haven't seen that video yet, but anyways, it's coming up. basically Kev Ramon, which you'll see soon, he shares that, you know, we're indulging in violence, killing, raping of animals. This is what they do for our consumption. If you drink cow's milk, if you eat meat, you know, this is what, guilty of association, right? And this is why I really am on this journey, because I want to change. And I realize that if I'm not going out and killing it myself and then cleaning it and then eating it, like, I don't know. It's very debatable. And I don't know if we'll ever as a society get to a point where we're not eating meat. However, y'all, I just got totally sidetracked. But anyways, basically the guy was saying he's been vegan for 5 years. Okay, go me. I found the video, y'all, and I just went ahead and screen recorded it. So
everything that we eat literally has a spirit in it. I mean, that's what I see as a clairvoyant, whether it's meat or whether it's a plant food. Whether I'm eating an apple or I have chicken in front of me, I will literally see a diffuse, luminous spirit infused into the actual food. This is the case with pretty much all food except for processed food, which is very dead and seems to be devoid of spirit for the most part, unless it still has living ingredients in it. And without knowing anything about the sourcing of a food, I can look at a piece of meat and tell from the quality of the spirit left and infused in that meat whether the cow or whether the animal lived a good life, or if it was in suffering, or if it was basically tortured. And here's what this has taught me as a clairvoyant. If I pray in honoring and appreciation for the spirit of the animal that gave its life to be food, and I send it a blessing, I literally connect with it and send it a blessing and ask that God lifts it and elevates it in light to move forward into higher heights in its next incarnation cycle, then I will literally see the spirit begin to glow and start to get more light infused into it. What I see is that when you bless your food and you take time to honor the animal, you are literally sending light to its spirit, which is in a weird way connecting with it on a quantum level. This quantum exchange helps it move up in its next incarnation cycle, up the chain closer to human and closer to luminous incarnations. One of the most important things that we have as humans is the capacity to intentionally bless. We can literally conjure energy by channeling higher power to infuse into our food, into other people, into situations. This is literally one of our highest capabilities and faculties. And when we do that with the spirit of an animal that we're about to eat, and hopefully they did that when they slaughtered the animal, but if they didn't, your quantum connection with its spirit can help to infuse it to truly evolve closer towards human incarnation. Anyways, I hope this helped you and I hope it made sense of the...
Comment down below, y'all, and let me know your thoughts on that. I know it's going to be very controversial because he literally said slaughtered, and, you know, like I said, killing and slaughtering, raping for our consumption is not a high vibration. So let me know your thoughts on that one. All right, let's go to the next video moving forward.
And my sister and I and my mother, we were there Monday morning and met with the doctor. And I looked the doctor right in the eye. And I said, listen, if this was your mother, would you be giving her the treatment that you're giving my mother? He bucked his head down. He said, no, I wouldn't. I said, well, why are you giving my mother this treatment? You know what he said? This is what I was trained to do. I'm just trying to do what I can and what I know to do. That's all I can do. I'm saying all that to say that I don't have anything against doctors. Dr. Onkoff, over 60 years ago, saved my life. My daughter was a doctor. My first cousin's a doctor. I got people that I consider friends that are doctors. But what I'm saying to you is that you have to think for yourself. God gave you a brain. You've got to think for yourself and work on trying to take care and heal and prevent things from happening to you.
Hello. He said keyword, prevent, public health. This is me. Hello, nice to meet you. I have my bachelor's in science and public health. I went to a medical high school. I was a former assistant science teacher at a charter school. Y'all know I just quit my 9-to-5 job. Anyways, the point is, he asked the doctor, why are you going to give my mother who's diagnosed with cancer this treatment? Would you give your mother this? Asking the doctor. He's asking the doctor. And the doctor says, you know what? No, I wouldn't. I'm just being told. I'm just being, this is what I was trained to do, right? That was the doctor's response.
Did you have the capacity to prevent? Hey, I'm just getting back with you. Take care.
Heavy on the take care. All right, next video.
Tumor is working on keeping you alive. Cancer is not even an illness. Cancer is a symptom. We have so many toxins in our system that would kill us. So the body builds a bubble, a tumor, and collects all these poisons and keeps the poisons on one spot where they don't do harm. That's a tumor. So the cancer is basically your friend. So that's why it's so dangerous if anybody comes with a needle biopsy, and pinches into this tumor and releases the toxins into the system.
But what do people do when they get diagnosed with something? They go to the doctor. What does the doctor do? They do a biopsy and they pick at it, and then it spreads all over the body. And then you wake up wondering, why do I feel like this? Why do I have cancer in the lungs now, and the heart, and the liver, and the stomach, and the kidneys, whatever, right? It's spreading rapidly. You're opening the gates of hell to your body to be exposed to these toxins. Okay, with that said, let's jump right into the next video.
And all of a sudden they find you have a very fast-growing, very aggressive cancer that you didn't have before the needle biopsy. Same problem occurs with mammography. If the lymph nodes is really full with toxins and collects all these toxins, and then sometimes there's just too much in it, so it takes a while longer to get rid of these toxins. So when you have a mammography, they put 50 pounds of pressure on the most gland-landed tissue in the female body, the breast. Usually it bursts, and that's what causes cancer. Every mammography raises the cancer risk 2%.
The sicknesses, like that big C word, is not the issue. That's your body attempting, like this gentleman said, to fix itself. The actual problem is your lifestyle, and we can solve that by making sure that our diet is functional. And our diet is functional if it's nourishing the cells, facilitating detox, and have the components for repair. Nourish, detox, repair. You can do that. Your body will be in a state of health, and you'll have a fighting chance versus anything. Our sick care model of medicine is treating illnesses. It's just trying to fix the problem, not realizing that the problem isn't the symptom of a faulty lifestyle. That's the cancer, that's the headaches, that's the rash, that's the not being able to sleep. Those are actually your body trying to fix itself. And so getting rid of that makes the body even worse. So as long as we can fix that diet, then that'll get us into a healthy stance, and health is really what resolves all dis-ease.
Okay, so that was an awesome video, just shedding light yet again on the repetitiveness of this. This is so repetitive, and it's so vital and important for us to realize and know that we have to take accountability for our health. We cannot depend on the doctors. We cannot depend on other people for our ailments and illnesses that we obtain, right? It's solely based on our lifestyle. It's solely based on our nutrition. It's solely based on our exercise, our movement levels, okay? All of these have an impact. With that said, moving on.
Our teeth ain't made to eat no meat.
Come on.
A gorilla don't eat meat. An elephant don't eat meat. A cow don't eat meat. The hell I'm eating it for? I'm taking a dead animal, putting it in a live body. So if you put death into life, God is in you, he eat up there. I'm killing the God in me. We so goddamn weak. We live to eat. We don't eat to live. This is eat to live. There's 50 chemicals in Chick-fil-A. There's over 50 man-made chemicals in Chick-fil-A. That's why they're in a line. Every Chick-fil-A got a line.
Eating some dope, you eating some dope.
Eee, that one's gonna touch somebody. I mean, like I was telling y'all in one of my other videos that I made, my nutrition video, as I was doing my vegan meal, I was saying that, you know, Chick-fil-A had me on a hold, right? And just alone, their sauces for the fries have like over 20 chemicals in them, let alone the chicken sandwich has like 50 chemicals. I don't eat their chicken sandwiches anymore, but I was still eating their fries. And that is like the worst thing you could possibly do, right? So anyways, next video.
The only species on Earth that's completely lost its mind about food. Yeah, every other animal just eats what it's supposed to eat, right? You don't see a giraffe having an existential crisis about whether leaves are gluten-free, do you? You don't see wolves doing intermittent fasting. Oh my God, Karen, that lion totally needs to try keto. Oh, that zebra meat is like so last season. And these corporate psychopaths, these lunatics, they've convinced us that the most natural thing in the world, right, eating, yeah, needs to be optimized. What? Optimized. It's not a software update. You're not upgrading your ancestors' operating system. They survived an ice age, eating mammoth meat and berries, but somehow we need an app to tell us what to put in our faces. And now we're paying extra for food that hasn't been What? That's like paying a hitman to not kill somebody. We're the first generation in human history that needs to read the ingredients of our food. Our grandparents just ate, food. What's in the stew, Grandma? Well, it's fucking beef, Johnny. Where else would it be? Meanwhile, the French, they're still eating cheese and drinking wine. They're living to be 90. While we're over here having anxiety attacks over fucking yogurt. Oh no, is it Greek enough? Is it activated? Does it align with my star sign? What's its carbon footprint?
Like I said, the sad diet, the standard American diet. All right, moving forward quickly.
Hello, my name is Dr. Brooke Goldner, and I'm a board-certified physician, and I am specialized in disease reversal using nutrition. Now, before I ever became a doctor, I actually was a patient. I was diagnosed at 16 years old with lupus. I had stage 4 kidney failure. I had blood clots that caused mini strokes. I endured years of chemotherapy and steroids just to survive. Now, all I've ever learned never helped me with my health. It was always about survival. I did 3 years of genetic research at Carnegie Mellon. I went to medical school. I was chief resident, and yet I still needed medicine to survive. 12 years I was sick. And then 15 years ago, I changed my diet to a plant-based diet. I got rid of dairy, no animal products, and within 3 months, the lupus was gone. I have been healthy for 15 years with no sign of disease. I've had children, and I've dedicated my life to this.
Amazing story. Wow. Super incredible. Okay, next.
What I fed my mother to reverse her bone cancer. Look at everything. This apple of Eve feeds every cell in your body. In other words, I gave her this religiously, family. Look at this. Look at the avocado oil. Vegetable oil is a carcinogen. It gives you cancer. The meats that you eat from these stores are giving you cancer. Your oyster mushrooms, portobello mushrooms. Look at the onions. Look at the wild rice. Onions is great for anti-inflammatory properties. Look at the red pepper. The red pepper has more vitamin C than oranges. It's 190 milligrams of vitamin C every 100 grams of the bell pepper. We got seeded grapes, avocados. We got the mangoes. Mangoes are considered the king of fruit. We got the seeds, the nuts. And if you want candy, get you some dehydrated fruits and make sure they're dehydrated without preservatives, 100% pineapples. This is what you do. Ginger, anti-inflammatory properties. Turmeric, anti-inflammatory properties. This is what you do. Feed your body on a cellular level. This is what you do to reverse cancer. They gave you the cancer, then they try to remove the cancer. How can they remove the cancer when they're one given to you? There's no money in reversal, there's only money in treatment. This is the food of God. Organic bodies need organic food. This is what we do, family. And that apple of Eve feeds every cell in your body. You can get that from Amazon or the worldsgreatrejuvenation.com. This is how you reverse cancer. Let your food be your medicine be your food. This is how you reverse cancer. Oh, praises.
I love that video. Absolutely love, love, love. You see all of the healing, nutritious food that'll be so nutritious to your blood, your brain, your body, your organs, your mind, your temple, everything, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, moving forward. We are almost done, y'all. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more videos left. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. Let's get into it, y'all. The 8 pillars of health.
Pillars. Nutrition, what we put into our bodies as food, can have a dramatic impact in terms of our well-being. Exercise. It's going to make you more fit. It's going to make you have better endurance. But did you know that it reduces stroke? It improves well-being. It reduces depression. There's so many benefits. Water. This may sound obvious, right? You drink because you're thirsty. Where I would like to go today, the effect of water externally on your body can do.
Cold plunges, saunas, that kind of thing?
Exactly. This affects your immune system.
Which changes your probability of diseases and
Correct.
stuff like that?
Absolutely. Sunlight. A very big misconception. Sunlight equals vitamin D. Sunlight has far more benefits than just vitamin D. Temperance.
Temperance? What does that mean?
Temperance really means to avoid toxins in the body. I see a lot of issues, lung cancer related to smoking, liver failure as a result of alcohol abuse. If you want to live a long and wholesome life, there are some toxins that you want to avoid. Air. Seems kind of obvious. For you to have the best type of air, it actually has to come with some things in it. The best type of air that you can have is actually outside. Rest. Sleep is so important. I couldn't overexpress it enough, but I would also say a weekly rest.
A weekly rest?
A weekly rest. Even on the weekend, do we put down our phone or we stop reading emails and we take the time out to do things that we would never be able to do. Finally, trust. People who have faith and people who have faith in God are better apt and able to deal with stress and depression and anxiety. This is something scientifically that has been shown. Now, you've got nutrition, you've got exercise, you've got water, you've got sunlight, you've got temperance, you have air, you have rest, and finally you have trust. You put that together and it spells out New Start.
Wow, New Start. So for some of us, we need to really prioritize those 8 pillars of health in order to have a new start. If you're already implementing these into your lifestyle, your daily activities, your daily regimen into who you are, then kudos to you. All right, next video. We're almost done, y'all. We're almost done.
No animal needs to die for me to live, okay? My son turned 14 this year, never had a piece of meat in his life, okay? He go do 8 pull-ups right now, okay? My oldest son, haven't had meat in his life, he could bench over 200 pounds, okay? 6'2", 8-pack, play guitar, piano.
Sheesh. All right. Interesting take. Boy, oh boy. I'm just imagining my life if I never were fed meat growing up, right? Like, imagine a life of me just eating fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds and watermelon juice, which, by the way, y'all, I killed it. This is like my 2nd cup. I might get a 3rd because I'm about to go to the gym right after I film this video. We'll see. But with that said, y'all, we only have 3 more videos. Let's get straight into it so we can wrap it up. All right?
Told me this, and I know this to be true. Your kitchen is supposed to be your hospital for your family. What kind of hospital your mama gave you? Little babies eating McDonald's fries all week.
I like that. That's a cold saying right there.
It's the truth. Your kitchen is supposed to be the hospital for your family. Your family is strong and healthy because of your kitchen. How many bitches can say that? Who you know that makes sure they take care of their family? I'm not saying there's none who don't.
Right.
But I'm saying most situations in America, your family is raised off garbage. Your kitchen is full of Little Debbie's and motherfucking.
A lot of kitchens is for decoration. Them just don't even go in now.
Unfortunately, we see kids addicted already. You know, me working at a school, especially primarily working with middle school students, they love their Takis. They eat Takis for breakfast. And no shade, but I grew up eating hot Cheetos for breakfast with an Arizona sweet tea. Okay, but that was back in the days. I don't do that anymore. Okay, so it's just sad to see that this is the hard truth and the reality. 2 more videos, y'all. 2 more videos, then we are done. Okay, let's go.
Pauline is 73 years young. Like, I can't, and the energy on her. Like, I get in here, she's running around like literally more energy than a 20-year-old, right? Why is that? Is it from the food?
Eating healthy foods, because you know that food, it represents 80% of the goodness in your body. 20% is the exercise, but you have to fuel your body the right way, and I fuel it with foods that are alive. No processed foods, none.
Yeah, because they're not good for us. We gotta just eat real whole foods, even if we're not raw, like even cooked, like whole real foods.
Absolutely. Every cell in your body will appreciate you, because you don't have thousands of cells, millions or billions. You have trillions of cells. So you really want to feed them and just show them that you love them. And, you know, they'll let you know.
Right? They will love you back.
Absolutely.
But not when you're putting in those donuts. They will not love you back.
Oh, no. That sugar is not good. Because that sugar, it feeds inflammation. It feeds cancer cells. And we all have cancer cells. That's why our immune system is, you're putting on your boxing gloves on the cells, on your immune cells. You're putting on your boxing gloves with foods like this.
You heard it right. We're putting on our boxing gloves because we are the combat of illness. Our bodies are constantly fighting for our health. and wellness. So as she said, we have cancer cells within our body, so we can either turn them into good cells or bad cells. That's why when you take medication from the doctor, when you're prescribed prescription drugs, a lot of the times you have to get more prescription drugs in order to facilitate, or I should say combat, the illness and the symptoms that come from taking that drug. So it's like a whole cycle of just go to the root issue of the problem. Stop trying to ignore the preventative measures, which is lifestyle, right? And nutrition and diet. So when we take into account all of that information, it always comes back to you and being accountable for your lifestyle and your health, okay? Last but not least, y'all, Kev, the Fruitarian, Kev Ramon, Coach Kev, shout outs to you, Kev. All right, so last video, and this will be it.
What does eating flesh and blood represent? We're not going to use any euphemisms, and that's what flesh and blood eaters do. They use a lot of euphemisms because they're too ashamed and embarrassed to just admit what they eat. They're too ashamed and embarrassed to just call it what it is. So they use euphemisms like meat and pork and steak and chicken and beef and hot dogs and bologna and ham and chicken nuggets, and all of these are euphemisms. It's rotten flesh. It's blood. It's parasites. It's feces.
Imagine I'm like, yeah, last night I had some carne asada tacos. No, actually last night I had some hormones, some feces, some blood, some rotten flesh. Imagine if I said that. Better yet, imagine that food uncooked in its raw state, in its raw form, uncleaned, telling the truth of really how old it is, right? Because they make meat always look like it's fresh. Imagine it without seasoned plant food seasonings on top of it, right? So a bland...
They're euphemisms. It's rotten flesh. It's blood. It's parasites. It's feces. And then there's the vaccines and the antibiotics and the growth hormones and the drugs, the humectants, the carbon monoxide, the nitrates, the nitrites, and more. This is what they're eating. But they use these euphemisms like meat and chicken and hot dogs and all these different things. Because if they called it what it really is, they would eventually stop eating it. Because eventually they will realize how stupid they are for eating it. But what does eating flesh and blood represent? Eating flesh and blood represents violence. It represents hate. It represents murder. It represents a lack of compassion, a lack of mercy, a lack of empathy. It represents and embodies every form of evil that you could think of. Because in these industries, they don't just kill animals. They also rape them. They also steal their babies and kill their babies. The people who eat flesh and blood eat their babies. They steal their milk and then they sell it to other humans for profit. So the industry doesn't just represent the violence and the murder, it also represents rape and thievery. So now understanding what these industries represent and embody, everyone who eats flesh and blood, they're supporting the violence. They're supporting the hate. They're supporting the rape. They're supporting baby stealing, baby killing. They're supporting the stealing of these animals' milk. They're supporting the thievery. Voting doesn't matter. You go to the polls to vote, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything. Like,
I've been saying that since like 2018. I'm like, your vote doesn't matter. Everyone's like, yes, it does. Oh, now do y'all believe me? Okay, anyways. I got a little triggered.
They give anybody the right to vote. You don't even have to take a test to vote. You got to take a test to get your driver's license. Matter of fact, you got to take 2. You don't even have to take a test to vote. And it's supposedly the most important decision regarding this country. The only
It's a scam. It's a scam.
criteria is that you're 18. That's how you know your vote doesn't matter. But we're all voting every day by how we spend our money. And this is the vote that matters. These are the votes they're paying attention to, because wherever the money goes, they're going. Like, they don't have any attachment.
That's just facts.
To anything they're a part of, any industry they're a part of. Their attachment is to money. That's all they care about. And wherever the money's going,
Money, 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 money. Money. Where the money goes, they go.
that's all they care about. And wherever the money's going, they'll change their entire business to follow the money. All of these industries, these businesses, these corporations that's killing all these billions of animals a year, if the money started going to fruit, they would start growing fruit. They would stop killing animals. They would start buying farmland and planting watermelon and planting fruit trees. That's what they're looking at. That's what they pay attention to. So every day, the way we spend our money is telling them what kind of world we want to live in.
And that's that, y'all. That is finally the end of all the videos, all the reactions. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in today. And like I said, I do not want to, disclaimer, right? I do not want to offend anyone, nor do I want to pretend like I'm someone that I am not. I am. You guys are witnessing. This is a journey and a process for me. I truly desire to be alkaline, vegan, plant-based, whole food, right? But I am still dealing with my addictions. I am still dealing with setbacks. I am still working through them, right? I'm taking accountability for my actions. I'm getting up every day. I'm being positive throughout my day. I'm eating whole foods. I'm eating my acai bowls. I'm exercising, right? I'm eating quinoa instead of rice. I'm eating veggies instead of processed food. I cut out sugar. So there's a lot of things that I am doing along my journey. But like I said, last night I did have a carne asada taco, right? But after watching all of these videos with me, you can see that they are all saying the same things, right? When it comes to the things we consume, it matters. It matters at an astronomical level, okay? It truly matters because you are what you eat. You are who you surround yourself with, right? You become your environment, essentially, right? Even if it doesn't happen overnight. These things is a process. Everything is a process in life. But the things that you do every single day, right? I want to be 80 years old and look super young. I want to look maybe in my 40s. Right now I'm 30. Literally, I'm 30 years old, 30. When I'm 40, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, I want to be thriving in life. And common sense would say, okay, if you're eating dead animal flesh, chicken, pork, beef, steak, if you're eating these rotten, dead feces, blood, flesh, do you think that your body will feel alive? And we already know. Watch my last video where I reacted to my mentor T-Walk. He talks about uric acid in the body. And where does uric acid derive from? Uric acid derives from meat, flesh, rotten flesh, right? So we're eating these things. We're eating these starchy foods. We're eating these mucus-forming toxic foods. And then we wonder why 10, 20, 30 years later that we have all these ailments, and we wonder why we have cancer. We wonder why we have diseases and illness and ailments in our body. We wonder why we have inflammation. We wonder why we have pain. And it's all stemming from our lifestyle, our nutrition, what we're putting in our body, what we're being mindful or lack thereof. We have to take control of our health, y'all. In the state of the world that the world is in, it wants us in fear. All this stuff that's going on in the news, the government, all of these things are just to keep you at a low vibrational state in order to raise your vibration to a higher level of thinking where you're not even thinking about everything, because there's people in the world that don't even know that all of this exists here. All this chaos and drama that we have, that we deal with here in America, there's other people in the world that have no idea, absolutely none, no idea that this is happening to us right now. Neither do they probably care, because they have to worry about themselves. And that's what this video is about. Worry about your health. Stop depending on a person in a white coat whose job is to treat you. My job is to prevent you from needing treatment. My job is to give you a cure. There's no profit in that, right? So we have to understand that this is a lifestyle change that needs to happen in order to transform. I share my journey with y'all. I am not perfect, but I always say what? I strive to be. In striving to be perfect, in order of striving to be a pure asset and pure inspiration and influence to my community here on YouTube and in real life, right? I am showing you guys as much information, free game, as possible. But with that said, y'all, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to the free Facebook support group. Like I said, I'm waiting on y'all. So much information on there, hidden gems. key for your health and longevity and wellness, okay? Even some financial hidden gems as well, okay? Especially what's going on right now in the economy, in the world. We need the funds. But we also have to have our health, because health is what? Health is wealth, okay? I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. Make sure to like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay high vibrational. I love y'all. Bye.